2 months ago, I bought this R2-D2 impersonator.
What was that?
There was coolant where the spark plug should be. The timing was out 180 degrees, and the timing chain was a little loose. There was coolant coming out the bottom of the engine. There was coolant coming out the top of the engine. This car has seen better days. So this is where the rebuild begins. The cylinders have been the biggest problem with the seized pistons, and now they need a rehone. So that was quite scary honing them. I've never done it before, and there's an oil pipe down the bottom that you definitely don't want to catch. But they look quite good. So I gave these a quick spray with ATF for overnight, and then the next day I came back with some hot soapy water, gave them a good clean down inside, and then we put more ATF on a paper towel and wiped it until that white paper towel came out clean as anything. Well, okay, these are just a few of the parts that I've had delivered so far. These come with A1, A, a B, and a C. So top ring, middle ring, bottom ring, and then these are the two that sit above and below of the bottom ring. Okay, so I fitted up 3 pistons already, and I just thought I'd show you how they go together and what they look like. So this is the expander ring, which goes down the bottom. So this also comes with these two called, I think they call them oil rail caps. So actually within here there is 2. Separate them. This one goes in down the bottom, in there. One of these goes on the top of that expander and one of them goes on the bottom. When you put these rings on, you've got to set them out so that the splits are in different parts all around. So the top one goes on at 12 o'clock, second compression ring around 6 o'clock, the oil ring expander around 3, upper rail 9 o'clock, and the lower rail about 2 to 4 o'clock. With spreading the gaps out around the piston, combustion gases must change direction multiple times then, and then each ring acts as a barrier. Compression and oil control will improve. So the top and the middle ring on these actually have markings on them, and you can just see in tiny writing that they say top, so it is important that they go on this way. If you were to install them upside down, you're probably going to get poor oil consumption and poor compression. There we go. There we go. And the piston rings done. Here we have a brand new set of bearings. Oh, look at them. Beautiful. So now that we've done the piston rings, it's time for the rod bearings. They go in the rod end themselves and also in the cap. Now I made sure I knew which ones were which of these because they do only go on one way. I didn't want to get them mixed up. You can see that is exactly right for that one. Because if I try and put it on the other way, you'll notice it doesn't quite fit properly. So, say there is only one way, but if you get these mixed up, you can be in whole heaps of trouble. So, now you've heard me call these piston bearings. Their actual name is big end bearings. It's really important that these go in clean, dry, with metal to metal contact. This allows for proper bearing crush, heat transfer, and prevents the bearing spinning. Perfect. That goes that way, that goes that way. And that's it. Piston bearings done. Right, so we've got the piston rings done, the piston bearings done. We'll get these lined up and the pistons are going back in the cylinders for the first time. So compression tool will go on top, like so, just above the skirts. And then we tighten that to a point that we're happy with. And get another click out of that. Alright, I think that's it. He now has a lovely party hat. Right, we've lubed these two up. It's time to get this one in. So just to make sure it's perfect, because it's... Right, seems to be seated. So we'll try and give it one last. There we go. Get it nice and straight. So you push in. Whoa. Christ, that went right through my finger. Right, that definitely went in. Ah, that sliced the inside of my finger open. Mustn't. Right, in. And a little push down to the bottom. That's seated. And then we go from underneath. Reattach our finger in a minute. It's alright, it's not falling off. There is the rod, and on the other side, just there, see? That is nearly seated, and then we'll just stick the cap on the bottom. I marked all these up before, front and rear, front, numbered, just to make sure everything was going in the right spot. Get this in. This has been one of the big moments I've been looking forward to, getting the pistons back in. I did, however, have problems with the camera, which decided to stop when I was trying to do a picture of the pistons moving up and down. I did get one earlier on with just the two, but I promise you, they're all fine. Right, next up is the crank seal. Now, I've gone round this just a couple of, well, I've gone round it once or twice actually. Started over here with just the screwy and worked my way around to this point, and now that, to be fair, came out really well. The crankshaft seals on these, the replacements, come with a little guide, so they're really easy to push in. And then because they've got a little metal edge around the outside, I was just tapping the screwdriver. That's a blunt screwdriver anyway, just along the edge. We've got a perfect seal. And there we go. Crankshaft seal done. Okay, so we've got the pistons in and the caps on, but I haven't been able to tighten them because I haven't got the right part for the torque wrench. So that's coming tomorrow. So I'll leave that there for now, and then we'll torque that tomorrow. That's the scary part anyway. So the water pump is up next, which is situated just down here. That's the fella. There's 5 10mm nuts in this. Those pistons look amazing. From what they were to what they are now, I am buzzing with them. Water pump on. 3 bolts for the water pump pulling. That goes on there. Right, done. I think next we'll put the alternator back on. We'll get the oil filter housing back on. First up's the alternator. There's a little belt tensioner that goes on top. There's then a little bracket just underneath there that holds the AC compressor. And there's the AC compressor going on. I've done every seal and I've oiled every single part that you can. Changed everything. That's the oil filter housing back on. Oil filter in, oil filter housing on, AC compressors on, alternators on. We've also got the belt tensioner on. I just remembered what it was called. So yeah, that's done. What next? Now this is the next day, and opening up that garage and seeing that it's looking really, really good. So many clean parts. The only new part on there is the alternator. I know obviously all the seals that is within everything, but the piston, the engines, the compressor, even everything's coming up looking really well. I'm really, really pleased with it. But there's still plenty to do. I'm waiting on a part coming so I can do the conrod bolts. So in between times, we may as well get on with a bit of cleaning, a bit of spraying, make that look a little bit fresh. Should we lacquer it? I'm just joking. With a pack of seals that I ordered, I ended up getting a throttle body seal, so thought I may as well change that while I'm at it. That's the throttle body seal done. The intake seals. Inlet manifold done. And the socket adapter turned up, so I can now get the big end bolts finally torqued up. That's the big end bolts done. Next up will be the oil pickup, and before that we have to put the plate on just above it. This came out with only 3 bolts on it, if you remember. There was a bolt in the sump that I found. Possibly it's come out of this. We'll find out now as we're putting it back in. So you learn something new every day. That is an oil baffle tray. Now I know what it is, and I'll totally forget what it's called next time because it's got a stupid name. However, even though it's got a stupid name, it still needs torquing up. So 10 Newton meters again on this one. They were 10mm bolts for the baffle tray. Done. I thought it best to prime the oil pickup pump just so it helps grab oil right away instead of spinning dry. 20. Done. So we have the lovely oil baffle plate back on and the oil pickup pump. Next up is the oil chain. So I've got to get a sprocket onto that. The sprocket goes on there. We then got to get the chain over there. That'll hang down. Put it round another little sprocket here, which goes on the end of this. And then we bolt that up. However, getting the chain up or down could prove a little tricky. So I think I'm going to try and hang the chain from the top, put the sprocket in, and then we can let that go down onto the top of there. A little assembly lube on the chain and sprocket. So let's see how this theory goes with the chain over there. And we seem to have gone on. A little bit of help with the finger. Give it a little wiggle. There we go. Chain. It's on the sprocket, nice and tight. Come on, roll in. Okay, and everyone. That's it. Has to be tightened to 5 Newton meters and then 90 degrees. Right, done that. Give it a turn. That should pick up. That's the cover back on. Okay, done. Right, we're getting through this now. We're absolutely flying through it. Next up, timing chain. We can get the sump on now. And the head, the cylinder head is ready to go back on. I'm actually running out of time tonight. Liverpool are on and I want to watch the football. food to all the banks. Joking, you know, just switch off, it's fine. Bothered anyway. Yeah, we're getting close. I've got this booked in for MOT. I had it booked in for Monday. However, the garage have phoned me today and said that it got double booked the time slot. It shouldn't have been there. So a week on Wednesday, that's when they can get it booked in, 10 o'clock in the morning. So I want all this done, dusted, sorted, fixed, running if I can, because I don't fancy pushing it down to the garage. However, as I've already said, this is my first build. I've never been this far. We're now bolting things back on again. I just want to make sure that I get everything right with the timing, the chains, the gaskets, the seals, all the oil in. And then it's a case of trying to plug all of this back in again. That's it for now. Join me next time as we continue the build that hopefully gets us towards that first start. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.